The Yankees beat Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers beat the Mets in a battle of NL contenders. This is Locked On Now MLB.
The biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Now MLB, local experts weighing in on the biggest stories in baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. We've got our Locked On MLB hosts here in-house. They're ready to tell you everything you need to know from the day in baseball. Yesterday, pitching got the Yankees 2 wins in one day in our best performance.
The best performance.
Hold up.
The Yankees utilized their starting pitching to make it easier on everyone else in the dugout in both wins on Thursday. Our Locked On Yankees host takes you through the numbers behind a pair of strong starts.
This is Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees, and the Yankees swept the Angels in their doubleheader today. Game 1, Nestor Cortes Jr. What can we say about Nestor Cortes Jr. that hasn't already been said? His ERA is down to a 1.50 now after the win. The offense scored for him. They hit a few home runs off Shohei Ohtani, chased him out of the game relatively early. The Yankees just seemed to have his number. And then in Game 2, Jameson Taillon took a perfecto into the 8th inning. Unfortunately, he lost the perfecto and lost the shutout. And the Yankees found themselves down a run heading into the bottom of the 8th. Anthony Rizzo came up, hit a 2-run single to put the Yankees ahead 2-1. Then Clay Holmes came in and did his best Aroldis Chapman impression, with the exception of he did not blow the save. He didn't give up a run. He didn't blow a save. He was very close to it, though. Let's not do that again. Anyway, so the Yankees sweep the series. They sweep the doubleheader, and we'll have recaps of both games and a preview of the next series against the Tigers, which begins Friday night. So tune in.
The Angels had 2 chances to snap their losing streak yesterday, but lost both to the Yankees instead. Locked On Angels dives into the struggles at the plate for LA.
It was a doubleheader day for the Angels against the Yankees, and they were looking to end their losing streak, and guess what? They didn't. My name is Mike Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels, and the Angels have lost 8 in a row, friends. 12 of their last 15, and we got to get the heck out of New York and find a way to get a victory. In the Game 1, Shohei Ohtani only went 3 innings, and we lost 6-1. And then in Game 2, we almost had a perfect game. The Angels didn't have any hits or any walks until the 8th inning. We did score a run, but the Yanks came back and scored 2, and we found ourselves on the losing end again. And John and I are going to talk about it on Locked On Angels, and we might cry in between each segment. We hope you'll join us. We'll see you then.
Corey Kluber has dominated the Rangers in different uniforms throughout his career, and he continued that tradition on Thursday against Texas. Locked On Rangers has the recap after another rough go at trying to beat the former Cy Young winner.
Once again, the Rangers were programmed badly by the Klubot. Rangers lose 3-1 against Corey Kluber, former Rangers mediocre. I'm Bryce Patrick, host of the Locked On Rangers podcast. Corey Kluber once again did it to the Rangers. The first game that he pitched in Arlington since he no-hit the Rangers as a member of the New York Yankees. He went 6 innings in this one, which is 6 times as many innings as he pitched for the Rangers when they traded Emmanuel Clase, 116-mile-an-hour cutter-throwing bullpen genius, out to Cleveland for him. That makes me lose my mind every time I see the StatCast leaders and how fast he's throwing some freaking cutters. Not a great one for Taylor Hearn in this one. Not a great day for the offense. Here's the standout accomplishments for the offense. Josh Smith, leading off in his 3rd start in Major League Baseball, hits a leadoff double. Rangers squander it. Later on, Marcus Semien hits his first home run at home, his 2nd homer of the season. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Multi-hit game for Jonah Heim and Adolis Garcia. Other than that, nobody really did much of freaking anything. This offense couldn't get anything done. Corey Kluber was regretfully fantastic. The bullpen did their best in this one. Solid outing from Garrett Richards and Brock Burke, producing 2 shutout innings. Brett Martin worked a shutout inning, but it didn't freaking matter. The Klubot strikes again, and once again, he feels absolutely no remorse, no emotions. only Kluber.
Coming up, the Blue Jays sweep the White Sox and the Dodgers got back to their winning ways. This is Locked On Now MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Now is brought to you by Built Bar. They're the best tasting protein bars on the market. They're all made with 100% real chocolate, so they taste great. They're high in protein, but low in fat, low in sugar, and low in carbs. And now you can also check out one of their newest products, Built granola bars as well. If you head over to built.com, you can use our promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your order. Just make sure you put in that promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off of your order at built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Now MLB. I'm Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. Now we continue our look around the league. The Toronto Blue Jays finished off a sweep of the Chicago White Sox on Thursday as the Southsiders are struggling still through their first half of the season. Toronto now holds the third best record in the American League, but our Locked On White Sox host is not happy about getting swept.
We are running out of adjectives as White Sox fans to describe losses. Another disappointing White Sox loss to the Toronto Blue Jays. They lost 8-3 and were swept by the Blue Jays. Johnny Cueto didn't pitch bad, and if the Sox were facing a different pitcher, Cueto's outing might have held up. But there was zero offense really to speak of until the eighth inning. Sox got a couple things going, but just too little, too late. Despite trying to switch around the lineups and put a lot of lefties against Manoah, it just didn't work out. White Sox are the worst hitting group of lefties in all of baseball, so it really didn't matter at the end of the day. Sox now have fallen to third place in the AL Central and head to Tampa this weekend, hopefully to get things back on track.
The Reds are feeling better after getting back home and beating the Nationals. Our Locked On Reds host looks at the win over Washington on Thursday.
Home sweet home. The Cincinnati Reds couldn't be happier to be back at Great American Ballpark, specifically Joey Votto and Kyle Farmer, who both hit 3-run homers in the big win over the Washington Nationals. Hey, what's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast, here to tell you about another dominating home start for Graham Ashcraft. Absolutely looks phenomenal on the mound right now. The rookie pitched 7 innings and was working his high-velocity stuff all over the zone. And whenever there was contact made by Nationals hitters, it was weak contact, which was awesome to see. Loving the fact that he is building the sort of baseline that we're going to talk about, a solid rotation piece for the Reds for years to come. And speaking of Joey Votto, like we mentioned earlier with that home run, the Nationals gave him absolutely nothing to hit the rest of the game. That's going to be an interesting development for the rest of this series and really for the rest of this season as to who the Reds can put next to Joey Votto in the lineup to help him see some more pitches, because if I'm an opposing pitcher right now, I ain't giving him nothing to hit because that power stroke is back and some big things are going to be happening for Joseph Daniel Votto. We'll talk about that and we'll look at the rest of this series coming up on the next Locked On Reds podcast.
The Giants season has been fine so far, but fine wasn't the expectation after winning the division in 2021. San Francisco loses to the Marlins on Thursday. Locked On Giants tries to figure out the problem.
Just another really frustrating, disappointing loss for the San Francisco Giants. Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. Another day, another really forgettable game for the Giants. They get shut out by the Marlins. Granted, the Marlins do have some really good starting pitching, and Sandy Alcantara, tonight's starting pitcher, was very good. But the Giants, no runs. What is there to really say about this? And unfortunately, it is a continuing theme really on the season so far, even though they do have a decent record. The point is, it's just decent coming off a 107-win season, and really they're below 500 over the last month plus. And so they're going to have to play better baseball as the season goes on. So we'll break it all down tomorrow on Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
The Dodgers still need to figure out what's wrong with the bats, but Tony Gonsolin bailed out the offense with 6 innings of shutout work for LA. Our Locked On Dodgers host goes over the low-scoring affair in Los Angeles.
Hey, you know what's better than losing? Winning. What's up? It's Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. The Dodgers got off their losing streak after getting swept by one of the worst teams in the league. They came up against the team battling them for the title of best team in the National League, and the Dodgers came away with the 2-0 victory over the Mets. Tony Gonsolin, 6 shutout innings, continued to be dominant. His ERA is down to 159 now. He's now thrown enough innings to qualify for the league lead, and therefore he does lead the National League in ERA. He's been outstanding, continues to be outstanding. The bullpen was good. Craig Kimbrell, 1-2-3 inning in the ninth, which was great to see after his struggles, basically all season. So we're going to have a lot to say about Gonsolin, probably a lot to say about Kimbrell, and a few other things. A really good, solid game for the Dodgers. Offense didn't do much, 2 runs, but they faced some good pitching, and they got just enough. So plenty to talk about on tomorrow morning's Locked On Dodgers. So be sure to join us like you do every morning. We really appreciate talking to you first thing every morning. Make us your first listen.
That's all for today on Locked On Now MLB. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. Make sure you check out Locked On MLB and your team's Locked On podcast. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Now.